Welcome to another episode with Vinay
and Rupa, and you're listening to Bold and Brown, our podcast series.
Let's get straight into it. We've got a topic which I think can be used in so many settings, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, whether it's social, and I mean that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Rupa, you want to kick off with what we're going to be speaking about. It's. I mean, before she starts, it's a formula, and again, a formula is something which we should perhaps bear conscious of. We should know of it. We should not that we're following a tick box exercise. I know when I was studying for law, and they said, right, when you meet a client, you go through this tick box. And I remember early on the stage, a colleague of mine, he used to have it. So he used to say, right, I have to introduce myself. And then you should have next step, confidentiality. Next step, his rights. Next step, options. And he used to tick them as he go along. And that's his style, which is fine. It works for him. But for me, that is, if the other person's going to feel that, what are you doing? Am I a tick box? Am I an exercise to you? So it's not really, it's about knowing these things and applying it, where you can.
Exactly. And I think we've learned along the way in our journey, speaking to people on a one-to-one basis, speaking in a small group, speaking in a larger group, speaking in an arena with tens of thousands of people. So, for us, this is something that we've had to kind of learn. And hey, I can speak for myself. I don't get it right every time. I'm still learning. Like, I still get nervous talking in big crowds or, at events, etc. But this particular formula, it really helps to kind of just be good for everyone who's listening to you, because someone will be able to adapt to one of these four things, at least, if not all. And so we start with the acronym actually named HEEM, HEEM,
Yep.
HEEM. So I'm going to kick off with the first one. Okay, the first one is humility. This is really important because anyone that people say don't judge a book by its cover. But sometimes, you can look at the way someone is dressing or the way someone looks or what they're wearing or how they've done their hair or whatever. And you can be like, straight away, this person's got arrogance. People do judge us on a day-to-day basis. Hey, we do the same. It's really important to have humility when you are speaking to someone, when you are addressing something, when you want to be heard. I think humbling yourself at instance is really, really important. And you can start off with saying, hey, and it all depends, what the subject we're talking about. It can be adapted to anything in your field, in your area expertise, what you're doing in the corporate world, in your own business, whatever. We're just kind of give you our experience and insight on it. So when you're speaking about humility with us, we always want to humble ourselves and be like, hey, where are you from, or what have you done, or what do you do, and things like this. And so I like to start with, I completely agree, this is where I started and I completely understand. And it's kind of like just lowering yourself a little bit to not make the other person feel like you are more superior. If you're the one trying to make a sale, if you're the one delivering a presentation or an opportunity, you want to really stay humble with your words and with your actions. And this will just keep the other person's ears a little bit more open to listening to you.
Absolutely. I mean, you take someone's guard down, and it can be used, like, for example, as Rupa mentioned, like, if I'm at the gym, for example, and there's a person who I want to just speak to, and I might say to him, hey, oh my God, how did you get that lean, muscle mass? I'm humbling myself. I'm not saying, look at him, or, I'm bigger than him, or he's bigger than me, and now I've got the kind of jealousy. No, it's in a one-liner. It's like, man, you look good. And that could be me humbling myself. So it can be done on a one-to-one. And for example, if me and Rupa are on stage, again, would come up and, it depends what we're doing. And, straight away, I would say something, or Rupa would say something to kind of humble ourselves. It could be, there's so many ways of doing it. For example, guys, we are on this journey and we are learning on this journey and we are learning together. And, we might have some things that we could share. And if that could help somebody, that's a great thing for us. It's a much better thing than saying, I know more than you. You should do what I tell you to do. So you can humble yourself in so many, ways, in a professional sense and in a social sense. So humility, starts. So the first one is humility for a reason. If you humble yourself, it brings, like I said, the guard down the person, and then they're open for communication. And after we have something called E. The next letter is E, educate. Now, what does that mean? Educate. Look, if I'm meeting someone, I'm not educating them, but you maybe are sharing, or you're passionate about what you have learned. So, for example, again, I'm just going to go back to the gym again. Whatever example can I give? If I meet somebody, I'm like, wow, great physique, whatever. And I'll tell me, yeah, do you know what I do? I have creatine and, glutamine and, I have pre-workout and, whatever. I'm sharing what I'm doing as well. And, I do intermittent fasting now. And so I'm kind of, saying to him or them what's helped me. And, if I was in a professional setting, if we were on stage, or if I'm in court, I'm addressing a judge, I'm going to educate them in humbly by saying the law is, blah, 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 blah. And, the court have the option to, blah, blah. So I'm telling them what you have options to do in a humble way. And of course, educate in a professional sense. And Rupa's done so much on stage. And how would you educate, Rupa, on a stage with your industry, Forex trading?
I mean, the most important thing for me in that respect is having the facts. Like, I have been presented to so many times and I'm sitting down with people, I'm listening to people and I'm like, you're just giving me all the jargon and you're giving me stuff that is just so very much like textbook, but I want to know the facts. Okay, how long has this company been around? How does this work? What do you do? How do you use the strategy? What are the, wins and loss ratio? What's the risk to reward? Like, I want to know facts. I want to know figures. So it's really important when you are educating that you are very confident, number one, in what you're speaking about. And you absolutely believe that this is to be a fact. People want knowledge and educating is all about giving them that knowledge that they need in order to make a decision or in order to gain more knowledge or whatever it is you're trying to do.
I mean, what we're talking about here is, and Rupa's going to go into, we're going to go into it in a bit more detail, is you're appealing to different personalities. And we're going to go into the colours of people's personalities. So, I mean, we're on educate, and I'm going to speak for myself now. Logical mind, I need the analytical mind, I need logic. If you're just going to humble yourself, which is great, I need that as well. I've got the ego. But if you're always going to make this all fun and dance and, and not give me some hardcore, like, I love it when Rupa presents, she'll tell people that it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And the governments and the banks are trading. They're trading our money when we pay tax. But they don't just keep that money stagnant. They put it in different investments. And when I hear things like that, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. But if you've humbled yourself and you're giving information, it's the best way. And then, we move on to the next one, which is, again, for me, this is a big one for me. Entertainment.
This is your one.
This is my one. Listen, if it ain't going to be fun, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to, like the way I'm talking now is the way I am. I'll chuck in some jokes, we'll have a little banter. But entertainment, the next one, so we have humility, education, then entertainment. Is it fun? Is it going to be fun? Are you going to entertain me as well? Because, we're going to have this professional conversation without any kind of, the fun aspect of it. So I know for me it is there, but how would you chuck in entertainment?
And I remember, like, before I do a talk or a seminar or training or something, Vinay always gives me this advice. He's like, do you know what? Break the ice. Like, say something funny. And I'm like, I'm just not a funny person though. Like, what could I? You don't want to try so hard and try and act like a comedian when you're not a comedian. Yeah. But like, absolutely, to say it could just be one or two liner, something so basic that is just gonna like really make people laugh. Or just at least make them sniggle. I think that's really important, and that really like lifts a lot of weight off your shoulders when you get a kind of reaction from someone you're speaking to or people that you're speaking to, and they smile or they laugh, and you just feel laid back as well yourself, right? And it's just easier.
Absolutely. I mean, I love what me and Rupa, and this we can use because we're Indian. For example, when it comes to certain things like saving money, you can always play the Indian card. We're Indian, we save money, and they were like, and even if they don't laugh, the shoulders kind of go down. There's like an energy kind of shift where this person's very relatable. The worst thing is, I'm thinking about mistakes I've made. When I first started earlier on in the legal career, speaking to a client, and they phoned me and I gave legal advice over the phone, and afterwards, and I kept on talking, and I'm thinking, I'm really giving good advice, and afterwards, they just said to me, "Wow, that sounds so serious," and I was like. And then I realised, what have I done? And it was a good wake-up call. This is like decades ago. And I was like, right, let me tone it down. And I love this phrase. They say, if you can't explain something in simple terms, you don't know it well enough. And if you are that confident, because if you are going through these things, you're making people laugh, it's entertainment, you're educating, you're humbling yourself, you know your subject very well. And I'm not saying that's the case in the beginning, but entertainment, guys, and this appeals to a certain type of person we're going to go into. So entertainment, make it fun. And look, I'm not saying, like Rupert said, I'm not the funny, we're not stand-up comedians, knock jokes, but a little bit of laugh and a joke, a little banter.
I think if you were to do a talk in Punjabi, you'd be hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that would be hilarious. Yeah, well, Punjabi is a funny language. So you watch a Punjabi film and the way it makes you laugh, no English.
Yeah, and when I'm watching the same film with the subtitles, I'm just like, okay, it wasn't that funny. Like, it's funny, but it wasn't that funny. But it just...
And me and my family were in stitches.
Literally.
It is so hilarious. Anyway, the last thing. M. Now, M, it can stand for example, if it's a business opportunity, it can stand for money. But if it's in general context, it can also be motivation. Motivate them to take action. And it could be, for example, again, I'm going to go, if I meet someone, day to day, I'll bear in mind, let me humble myself, and go through, let me give them some information, whatever it is. It may not even come to that, or maybe I haven't got time to make them laugh. But I know motivation, for example, if I want to make a friend, and I did this, I remember I was having lunch in the coffee shop and a guy come in and he had big arms. And I was like, he had tattoos over the arms. So I was a bit wary. I was thinking, this looks like a bit of a gangster.
Judging a book by its cover.
Judging a book by its cover. It's black as well. Tattooed. I was like, all right, this could be, is he a client? Oh God, I hope he's not listening to this. But I actually told him, we had a little banter about it. And I was like, all right, this guy, he's my client or something. He was a drug. Anyway, I sat down and I go, bro, you got big arms. And he just started smiling. We started talking about, what are you having for lunch? You're having carbs at this time? And he goes, this is my only carb meal. And then I was like, you know what? Then I really want to make friends with him. And we started talking. And this guy was an entrepreneur through and through. He had 25 acres of land in Nigeria. I was like, wow, how old are you? He was like in his 30s, like early 30s. I was like, this is incredible. And, I was like, let's meet up. What's your Instagram? I was like, I want to get his number.
Yeah.
And then we ended up going gym. And man, Rip, I went gym with him. I had the workout of a lifetime. He does something and just goes to show his results were unlike anyone I've seen. And his training routine was unlike anyone I've seen. And I'm there following this guy. And afterwards, I come out, I was like, whoa, I'm a changed man. I was like, so motivation, getting that to take action.
Exactly.
And obviously in a sense where we're doing it on a professional sense. And for me, it might be the judge motivating them to pass a certain sentence after you've given them all the facts. But how would you make a money, what kind of motivates them at the end of a presentation?
Yeah, and I think that also comes down to knowing what it is that they're looking for. If you kind of try and answer these questions to yourself, because you can't give motivation to someone when you don't know what's going to motivate them. Like, what is something that may drive me may not be something that drives Vinay. Like, we all have different motivations in life. So knowing the crowd or the market or the person who you are speaking to beforehand. And I think we can actually really go on to the next one, which from here, what we call is another acronym by form. FORM, form. And that probably would happen, in fact it does happen, prior to you sitting down with someone, or you kind of knowing these things or taking a certain order in order to deliver in the most comfortable way, deliver with I would say quality, with value, and with everything ending and you just knowing that you've done the very best, following these certain guidelines. It doesn't work for everything. It all depends. But I can kick off with the first one. Yeah,
I mean, we could, form is something which it may relate more to business, but it almost kind of shadows heme in some sense. There's a lot of overlapping.
Crossover.
So we could just go straight into it. But first of all, talking about motivation. So, I had a date with Rupa last night, and obviously I had a motivation. What
was the motivation?
It's very sincere.
Okay.
Very sincere. Spending quality time together.
I know, that's your love language.
That's my love. Hey, love language is a whole new.
Yeah, we'll go into that.
Is a whole new topic, and we need to go into that.
Yeah.
But what was your motivation? I had my motivation, and mission accomplished.
My motivation was to keep you happy, to keep my husband happy, and knowing what you want. If you're happy with it, they say happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely,
I think
yes.
it goes the other way around as well, especially when you're married to a lawyer. You know,
I had to
there's
use
just no arguing with a lawyer, honestly.
I had to use him on her. Yes, I had to humble myself, educate her about what we're going to do, entertain her, of course.
Of course.
And then there was further entertainment afterwards.
Okay. Anyway, let's not get into
not
that. That'll be another
Sex
in the City talk.
Yeah, form.
Yeah.
So how do we start off with?
So the first one is family. And look, I'm going to give you an example of how it relates to us in what we do in our business. You know, we have an opportunity in, like, for example, trading, in building a business, network marketing, MLM. This was very much, you know, something that was so important to use, because if I'm meeting anyone, I don't want to waste my time, and I certainly don't want to waste their time. So, you know, to really value your own time and value someone else's time, there's certain things that I want to find out in a way to qualify that person to make sure that they are right for the opportunity, or they're right for this business, or they're right for the sales purchase, or whatever it is. So family being the first one, I want to kind of know, like, are they single? Are they married? Do they have children? You know, do they live in a joint household? Are they living by themselves? Do they live with friends? And of course, when you're doing this, you're not just straight away like, hey, are you married? Are you single? What's your status? You know, you can't approach it that way. Like, it's a conversation. It's a laid back conversation. And I'll tell you the key thing. When you are open to sharing about your situation, they will be open to sharing about their situation. And that's when you can start, you know, analyzing in your own mind, okay, this person would be good for this because of blah, 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 or it may not work for them because blah, blah, blah. And then you can just adapt yourself accordingly.
Yeah, family. I mean, it could be one, like, if I meet, especially if I meet women, I say to them, oh, my wife, you know, blah, blah, blah. That straight away, obviously, then there's a certain, then they know as well, okay, he's talking about his wife, married, and then they might say whatever, and it could be a one-liner. So from family, it goes to occupation. What do you do? I think that's probably a very, you know, when you meet anyone in life, the first thing women are, what do you do? What industry you're in? It's a very common thing. So knowing about what they do or where they are, they might be in a business, then Rupert, you know, or myself, if we're talking to a business person, we'll know it's business, man, woman related type. And if someone works for a company, again, what type of company is it? You know, a commercial, a massive company, is it a small company? Then you know where they are. Maybe they're working for their dad, or maybe they're doing a business with their parents, whatever. So occupation is very just, you know, getting to know them. As again, if you share with yourself what you've done and what you're doing, they'll be open. And then
and the third one is R, which is recreation. So what do they like doing in their spare time? It's really important in certain industries more than others, maybe, that you're getting to know your person personally. And, you know, I think, like, my mentor always used to say, like, a customer will leave you, but a friend will never leave you. And so when you're getting to know someone on a personal level, like, what do they like doing in their spare time? Do they have hobbies and interests, or do they just enjoy their weekend sitting at home? Or, you know, like, you want to kind of get to know their likes and their dislikes. So that's really important in the recreation segment.
So what do you like doing in your spare time? Okay, don't even answer that.
Don't answer that.
Yeah, that's our question. All right, we're going to move on to the last one is motivation. Again, it overlaps with him. The last one is motivation or money. If it's in a business sense, we're going to talk about the opportunity. And you know what? Hey, it may not be money that moves them. It may be something else. But I think now we need to talk about the colours.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if you read a book, and it's up there. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, this book is probably one of the best books to become a social, likable, and very sharp. You know, there's too many positives to this book.
Yeah.
And it talks about this in a sense where we're not manipulating people. We're not saying things just to say them. You know, for example, if I meet somebody and, you know, I've been told to, you know, compliment them, I'm not going to say a lie. You know, and if I can't find something to compliment them about, I'll find the small little thing and just work on that, whatever it might be. You know, for example, again, I'm just have to keep going back to the gym. Let's just say I see, and by the way, I actually truly feel this. If I see a very overweight person on doing gym, I have so much respect for them because, you know, it's not so easy to do that. And if I did see somebody, now let's just say they're overweight and they're going gym, whatever. What am I going to say? What could I say in terms of, you know, complimenting them or trying to get to? I'd say, you know what, hats off to you. you know what you're doing is you're giving it your all. But first of all, wait a minute, I couldn't. If I say that, they might be like, well, they may not consider themselves overweight, but I'd maybe try and upon the fact that their mindset of them coming day in, day out, to the gym might be one thing that I can focus on. That could be the thing I elaborate on. Maybe I can't elaborate on anything else because, for me, physically fit is having lean muscle mass, having less body fat and more muscle. And that's my definition. And it may not be somebody else's definition. But again, it's about knowing this next bit now.
Exactly. So, ladies and gents, if you know the colours, the personality colours of the people you deal with as your clients, as your business partners, as your family members, as your spouses, like this can massively help you in everyday life, honestly, and I absolutely love it. So we've got red. Okay, what is red? And whilst you're listening, I want you to take note of this because I want you to ask yourself where you fall also. It's really interesting.
And let me know where I fall.
I'll let you know where you fall and I'll let you know where I fall. Okay, we'll see if it matches. So red is someone who is very driven. They're very motivated. They're very results orientated. They're just like hungry. They're like just, the bulls with the horns. They just want to go straight at it. Like they are going to be very money motivated. These are the reds. Definitely both of us.
That's what attracted me to you.
Yeah.
I saw the ambition. It's ambition,
Yes.
drive, driven, want more out of life. Would that be fair to say?
100%. That's a red.
Red all the way.
Yeah.
Red's our colour, baby.
And I hope everyone has a bit of that because if you don't, like...
Well, I think it's important to just...
Yeah.
That's really important, actually, because everyone has...
A little bit,
but there are some which really
the more
stick
dominant,
out. They're more dominant. So, yes, we all have these type of things. I mean, for me, like I said to you when we were doing heme, when someone presents to me, and if they're not going to be fun, if it's not going to be a laugh, I probably wouldn't do it. And I probably wouldn't want to be someone's friend if they're not going to be just a bit laid back. And
Take note. Anyone's going to ever present to him.
Yeah,
make sure you make him laugh.
You made me laugh. Not even make me laugh. You've got to be a bit funny in a sense that you're laid back, you're casual.
Yeah.
You see the jokey side of things as well.
Yeah.
But red, what we move on to today is blue.
Yes.
Blue likes to be in a social crowd. I mean, very much myself.
Social butterfly.
Socialite.
Exactly. All about the, big events and the parties and like just...
The after party.
That's definitely him.
And then after the after party.
I don't know how many after parties
I'm
you have.
talking about me and you when we have our after.
Okay. Someone's feeling a certain way today, that's for sure. But anyway.
What am I feeling now? What colour am I now?
So blue. That is your blue. Someone who's just very social. Like, I know we're all over Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But like, you've also, in the blues, you can also maybe define them as introverts, extroverts. Like they will kind of be your extroverts. They put themselves out there. They want to socialize. They just want to be in a crowd. Like, almost like the pleasing the people, what we've spoken about before. But yeah, blues are great. Blues are fun. Blues love to have fun.
A laugh and a joke, which is me.
Yeah.
Has to be a laugh and a joke. So I'm definitely a blue. Hey, I think I'm all the colours. Oh, we're going to find out anyway. You're a blue. You're not.
I'm not so much
not
as
a
much
strong
as
blue.
you.
Not as much as me.
No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think I'm more of a yellow.
So what's a yellow? Let's go straight to yellow.
First of all, I love the colour yellow.
So do I.
I used to have a yellow car. Everyone called
The
it a bumblebee.
CRI-Beefer.
What a gangster car.
It was quite gangster, actually.
Yeah.
I've got to say, my respect for you went
Especially
up.
with the black tinted windows, the rims.
It was the rim tinted window and the sub.
Yeah.
And I remember once the first time you took me for a drive, romantic drive to Birmingham, of all places.
Wasn't it to the car show? NEC, the Max Power show in Birmingham?
Did we go to that?
I think so.
We did?
Anyway, it might have been someone else. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been another guy. God knows who you've been taking up to Birmingham. I thought I was the only Birmingham guy. Anyway, the one we went Birmingham. I remember when you gangstered out when you were hitting over 100 miles per hour. Sorry, kilometers. On the motor, I was like, this girl is definitely. I was like, there's a camera here. There's a camera here.
My 6th gear girl racer.
That was your password as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I've got to change the password.
Right, let's go back to yellows. We're going on a tangent.
Sorry, where
now.
are we going? Yes.
Yellows they're like your nurturers, like your...
The mums.
The mums, the mums, your nurturers, they're very like charitable. They want to take care of people. They want to take care of others. They're the ones that are kind of going to like cuddle you and just give you love and give you care. And like they're those kind of, that's yellows, the people that want to give a lot to other people. Like,
they want to, if it's not for a cause, if it's not a good cause, save the whales, what are you doing for humanity? Are there some charitable aspects to maybe you as a person or you as a company? If it's all about money or having a laugh or whatever, that's not their driving force. So again, like we said, everyone has this in them. But I think you're definitely a strong yellow.
I think
I'm very charitable.
Yeah, I'm a very strong yellow.
Yeah, because I do a lot of charity. Sometimes I don't even know I do charity. I like to.
He doesn't know.
I just check the bank
direct
account.
Debits.
And yes. Yeah. Sometimes I have to question where they actually are going, and
especially when it's noticeable, right? Like the thousands and thousands.
A lot goes to Mandir, to a temple.
It's very important, and it goes to a good cause.
No, I'm with you.
Good.
I agree with you.
Because
let's get into the next.
Unless you give, you ain't getting nothing back, boy.
Yeah, no, I give as well, and no, I like Rupert. Probably does more, 100%, and I know
he gives unconsciously.
And consciously, I've got direct debit set up with our following our faith as well.
And the Bob Proctor Foundation, the schools and everything.
That's right, the schools and everything. So
it's very important. But that's a big one for me, for sure.
Okay, well, let's get into the last colour.
One that you definitely, I would say, are.
If we need the green, it's all about the greens, baby. It's all about the green.
The lawyers, the bankers, the accountants, they all fall into this category.
The analytical, the kind of logical mind that you need to penetrate or break, because if it's all fun and games and save the whales and give to charity and give to Mandir and stuff, it's where are the facts? What is going on here? You get it? If we can't get past that, the logical barrier, and so it's a good thing to have this as well, in a sense that we're not going to be taken on a ride.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be one of the biggest factors, holding you back. And I love, the quote, Walt Disney's quote, the famous quote, logic will take you from A to B. But what's the other one? No, logic will take you from A to B. I've kind of messed it up now. But creativity will take you everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, logic will take you from A to B, but creativity will take you everywhere. And it's so true. And I'm one of them. I need the facts. Give me the if you're presenting a forex trading.
God, I would hate presenting forex trading to you.
Well, the thing is,
I'd be so scared.
The funny thing is, my let me check this out. My blue and my red, when you present to me, I'll be like, I don't care if it's a scam, bruv. I'm joining. Here's the money. Take it and
that's
go.
Just you, but you're
that's
just
me,
something else.
If someone like you present it to me, I'll be like, damn.
Okay,
all right, let's
that's something. That's another topic. But I mean, when I know I'm sitting down in front of bankers or accountants or like doctors and all that, and I'm gonna talk to them about trading, I'm just like, oh God, no, they're all greens. They're gonna be greens, right? I just need to give them facts and figures and statements and
show them the
results.
Profit losses.
Exactly, show them the results. Not like, we do these events, they're amazing, you're gonna love it. They don't care. Like, this is how much you could get paid. They don't care. Like, coulda, woulda, shoulda. They want now, they want real, and they want facts. So it's so important in everything you do, in your work, in your business, in your family, in your social circle as well, that you recognize the different colors of people's personality, because that's when relationships grow stronger, right?
And ultimately, these are, like I said, it's not a tick box exercise, it's knowing it. But what are we actually doing here? Generally in business, we're looking to solve people's problems. People have a problem. If you can, at the end, even form or heme, at the end is motivation.
Yeah.
If you can solve somebody's problem and tell them what life could be like with your product or service, that's going to be the ultimate. They've got a problem, you've got a solution. Yeah. You're going to charge for that solution, of course. And it's going to be a win-win. They get the value, they get the product, and you obviously get that money equivalent. And it does boil down to this, of course, but there's a process of going through it. And you know what? Sometimes you can sit with somebody and you could heme or form them in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how I did it with Rupert. When I saw I wanted to marry us, I had to go through those.
Ticked all his boxes and more. Boxes that he didn't even know about.
I didn't even know they were there. But at the end, it was a done deal. So, guys,
Yeah.
Heme, form. I mean, the thing is, at this stage now, you know, myself and Rupa and many others, our business partners, our friends, we do this we don't
Exactly.
think.
Yeah.
You know, guys, first of all, there is no strategy out there to win people to your way of thinking. You know, the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, how to be on stage and just get people to just, it's knowing a technique.
Exactly.
It's knowing your people. And I'll tell you what, when you do that with people, there is one word that you will have, which is probably the mother of it all: rapport. When you have rapport, you know, when I go to court, and I always say to people that I'm sometimes training or I'm guiding whoever, and I say, when I go to court, I've got one job only. I have to get the client to like me, the prosecutor to like me, the probation officer to like me, the judges or to like me, or the legal advisor, whoever's sitting, to if they don't like me, they're not going to listen to me. And there's a way of getting people to like you. You know, if I couldn't get Rupert to marry, I had to get her to like me.
He's still trying to get me to like him. It's been 10 years, but he's still working on it.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. So, guys.
Ladies and gents, do you know, I hope this has given you some value. And hey, send us a message, you know, type in the chat, you know, features or whatever, like, what color are you? Like, what do you resonate with? What is like something that's more dominant for you than maybe something else? And it'll be interesting to see, right?
Absolutely. Guys, as always, like and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
And see you very, very soon.
Take care.